If Stray Kids have taught us anything, it's that it's not what gets done, it's how you do it. Their success hasn't been built on idle perfection. They're more about authenticity and connection, just enjoying things as best as they can every step of the way. And as we move through the lead up to Chan's Room episode 62, that mindset is on full display. It's July 2020. God's Menu has absolutely exploded in the weeks after its release. The kids are having so much fun, and it shows, not just in their performances, but in every interaction with Stay, every bit of content that's released. It's really worth checking out this week's time travel playlist, which is linked in the notes below, if for no other reason than to share in some of that infectious joy. But it's important to remember that these aren't just fleeting moments of happiness as the kids revel in their hard-earned success. It's really just a foundational part of who they are. As we get into the second week of Go Live's comeback, Stray Kids are in the middle of the usual whirlwind of promotions with variety shows, musical stages, radio appearances, and very little sleep. But you wouldn't be able to tell, honestly. They're doing the rounds at After School Club, talking about details behind the album, and filming bonus dance practice videos in celebration of God's Menu's skyrocketing view count. They set milestones as goals to film these. For example, the Love Stay dance practice version was a gift meant to celebrate 20 million views on the music video, but by the time they filmed it, God's Menu had already gone past 50 million views. It really can't be overstated how fast and how high energy this all was. Amidst all of this incredible success, though, what really stands out is the kids' genuine happiness. It's written all over their faces. They come out fiercely on stage, but we get to see the lighthearted fun that's carried through these dance practices, and especially in this week's V Lives, too. The kids are thriving, fully immersed in the moment, and Stays who can feel that energy, even though they're not able to be there in person, are just radiating it all back. The kids' schedules might have been crazy busy, but none of these moments are treated like boxes to check off in a promotion schedule. It's all really celebratory, which you can especially see when some of the kids turn Hyunjin's dance practice into an impromptu dance-filled celebration all on its own. Between freestyles, laughter, and a sleeveless My House performance that Chan giggled his way through, it was the kind of controlled chaos that made Stay feel closer. Part of something special. Even though the numbers coming out of these weeks were beyond impressive, they honestly became background noise to the real story. Stray Kids were living the dream and doing that while fully present in the connection they built with Stay. But even in moments of joy and success, life has a way of reminding us that growth is ongoing. During an episode of the reality show Finding Skiz that aired this week, a costume challenge meant to spark laughter ended up causing controversy instead. Hyunjin unknowingly donned a costume, which was an option provided by the reality show runners at Mnet that he wasn't aware carried negative racial associations, depicting a Korean cartoon character who possessed traditionally black features. In the context of the global conversation surrounding systemic racism going on at this point, it was an issue that understandably had many stays voicing their concerns. And as we all know, in social media spaces, this tends to run the gamut from respectful feedback to outright hate. And this wasn't the first time conversations around race had arisen within the fandom, and in the past, it very clearly hadn't been allowed for the group to address these issues openly. But now, Stray Kids were in a position to take a different approach, acknowledging the situation directly in a post on Instagram, expressing their commitment to listening and learning, acknowledging their shortcomings and intentions to do better in the future. It was an important step forward, even if for some fans, these conversations continued to carry weight beyond that moment of apology. Stray Kids don't present themselves as perfect idols. They're the first ones to acknowledge their own humanity, that they have things to learn and room to grow in all directions. But the most important thing here is that in all situations, whether celebratory or in the midst of acknowledging their own shortcomings, they continue to show up as themselves, always, as real people who are still learning and doing the best they know how. And that perfectly imperfect humanity especially shines through in the Lino's Restaurant V Live we got this week, a warm and chaotic cooking session that brought Stay into the heart of Stray Kids as a family, really. The kids took time after a hectic day to make mala chicken soup and Korean pancakes, filling the kitchen with their signature casual, playful energy, while Lino led the charge and controlled chaos unfurled in the kitchen for almost 2 hours. Chan's tolerance for spice, or lack thereof, is obviously well known, but you might not know that mala seasoning had become an exception to that for him after he first tried it with his friend Yao Chen, who was a JYPE trainee with him and is like a brother. You might have heard Chan say the phrase, good food, good people, good life before. That's something he and Yao Chen would say to each other before eating together, but the sentiment of it, especially with that mala soup at the center of their meal here, really resonates through this moment. That night it was playing out right in front of Stay. Sharing a meal with his members was another extension of the greater journey they were all on together, building a life rich with meaning through shared experiences. From cooking with the members and enjoying a family meal together to offering a musical menu to Stay, Chan and the kids were living that ethos on every level. This is Stray Kids at their most grounded. Mala soup, though delicious, packs a punch, and even though on my part it's a cheesy comparison to draw, that parallel to the kids' music almost writes itself. And the easy warmth of the bond here as we sit around the table with 8 ravenously hungry, silly, genius, talented, and very human guys can't help but remind us that this journey with Stray Kids has always been bigger than music. It's not what gets done, it's how you do it. That's a motto that underpins our time travel in the rewatch too. We aren't here to check boxes or out of any kind of obligation. We're reliving these moments together because Chan and Stray Kids are our home. And whether we were there in real time or dipping our toes into these moments together for the first time, Chan's Room can't help but be an emotional touchstone for us. When we rewatch episode 62 this Sunday, February 9th at 11 p.m. KST, it'll be more than just reliving the past. We're sharing in the joy and the realness of this moment. I'll see you then.